They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, run and gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
When did we become, so bitter that we can't accept another man's apology? We make mistakes all the time. And as a grown man, you have to say, I'm sorry every once in a while. And it's okay to say that. And the apology, I think, should be accepted. And in this case, I'm accepting it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Arvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is if they're playing a Joe Bowman show.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
Do you even know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Donnie? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's get down to business. It's the Early Line right here on the SportsGrid Network. Did you know tomorrow it's 2026? So we're going to go out with 2025 in style today. We got you 2 hours as always. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Rainier. The hottest topics, you got it. Playoff football tonight in college, you got it. Tomorrow, 3 more playoff games. And also that look ahead to the weekend. Saturday, such important games in the NFL. Sunday slate as well. And then we're off into the NFL playoffs. What a time of year it is. Let's go out in style today. 2025 into 2026, Joe.
Yeah, Donnie, we got early football today, kicking off from noon right through 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight when the playoff games start. So no better way to bring in the new year than with a whole lot of college football.
Happy New Year to the people out there. Let's celebrate it in style. And maybe you got to get a little caffeinated today. Have that morning Joe. Get the information that you need in style. But more importantly, what's that hot topic of the day today, Joe? Give it to him.
Well, Donnie, it's time for us to grab our coffee or maybe start the champagne early because, yes, it is December 31st, and we are closing the book on 2025. And as we get ready to flip the calendar to 2026, I thought it'd be interesting to take a look back here, Donnie, at what people actually watched this year on television. And, I found proof once again that the only thing that truly brings people together to gather around the TV these days, well, is live sports. And anyone who tells you, I don't watch sports is likely lying. That's because the numbers don't lie, Donnie. The numbers are in. The top 100 most watched events on television of 2025. You want to guess how many of them, Donnie, involve sports? 96. 96. That's right. Out of 100 broadcasts on television this year were sporting events. Hollywood blows. Let's be realistic. They don't have the first clue as to what people are interested in watching anymore, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Oscars, the Emmys. Nobody cares about any of it. Streaming services, they're a dime a dozen these days, and the only thing that actually brings this country together, the only thing that gets us to huddle around the TV is sports, Donnie. And let's be honest, it's mostly football. Out of those 96 events, 92 of them, Donnie, were NFL or college football games. We are a football nation, make no mistake about it. The expanded college football playoff, by the way, is also crushing it. But the NFL, they call it king for a reason, Donnie, and it is still king. In fact, the only other events that snuck into the top 100, how about game 6 and 7 of the Dodgers-Blue Jays World Series? I thought nobody cared about baseball. Yeah, how about those two? How about the University of Florida versus Houston Cougars for the National Basketball Championship, huh? The college basketball title last year. And how about, and this is my favorite, the Kentucky Derby, which galloped back in to the top 100 most watched events of the year, Donnie, for the first time in about 8 years. That's it. That's your list. The only non-sporting events people cared about had to involve the presidential race or Snoopy at the Macy's Day Parade, which, why do people still watch that? I have no idea. So why is this? Why is sports the last standing pillar of TV these days, Donnie? Well, I'm willing to gamble, pun intended, that maybe it's because of what we and others like us do right here, Donnie. We have skin in the game. We have action on the line. We are invested in the outcome in a way that Hollywood is not now nor never going to replicate on a daily basis. We know how much sports, and especially live sports, matters to our everyday lives. And we're more than happy to try to help you profit the best that we can. So from all of us here at SportsGrid and the early line, we want to thank you for watching us. We want to thank you for betting with us. Have a happy new year. Be safe tonight. Enjoy the games, and let's have a massively profitable 2026, Donnie.
Love to hear it. And Joe is correct. Like, the wife will watch, the Housewives of Orange County. She ain't laying down any skin on that one here, but your boy DRS might watch that Miami-Ohio State game tonight. Just like many other people, lay that skin down. Oh, no, it's a blowout. Boom. Just got back in on minus 13.5 on Ohio State, and I'm going to continue to watch this game. Ooh, live total in this one just popped up. Bang, we're watching this game all the way through, blowout or not. Joe is right. And for anybody out there, oh, gambling, I wish it would go away. Are you kidding me here? These sports entities absolutely love the legalized sports gambler, and the ratings prove it. Great caffeinated Joe here to end the year here for us, Joe. Let's get into the early lineup, the hottest topics across the sports landscape, which includes Nikola Jokic. Uh-oh, he's injured, but whew, at least it's not for the year. Probably going to miss up the month with that knee injury, but disaster avoided for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, good news. Disaster avoided. Bad news. Yeah, you're going to lose a month with him, and you're already down 3 other starters. That's a problem here for the Denver Nuggets. They are going to have to weather this storm. I don't know how you do that, Donnie, without him. A lot is going to fall on Jamal Murray's plate, but let's just hope. And this is a guy that's averaging a triple-double a game, Donnie. It's kind of unheard of what he has been doing, so let's hope he gets back on the court sooner rather than later for the NBA.
And also, with most of these superstar athletes, it's not a devastating injury. You're going to have less wear and tear over the next month at Port. Maybe be a little bit fresher come for the playoff time. Maybe it's a good thing there for the Denver Nuggets. The Diggs family, not having a great day yesterday, Joe. You had Stephon Diggs charged with felony strangulation on the same day that Trayvon Diggs was waived by the Dallas Cowboys here. The Diggs family in need of some good PR from yesterday, Joe.
Yeah, listen, I'm holding off. I'm holding off all judgment on these types of things. This event probably, December 2nd, I think they said when it was. It appears, though, the Patriots, he was very upfront with the Patriots organization. The Patriots say, listen, he is vehemently denied it, is being looked into. Nothing is going to happen at this particular point. Let the process play through, and then we can have a conversation about what this is or not is. That's for sure.
Pay your personal chefs out there, people. Stay out of trouble. I think that's a word to the wise today heading into the new year. How about Charlie Baker? How? Would you got some teeth coming from the NCAA? Nobody who plays NBA basketball will play college basketball until somebody sues us, then we'll let everybody play college basketball. Did I get that right, Joe?
Donnie, it's hilarious. This is the biggest deflection release of a statement I have ever seen in my. He is basically pointing the finger at Congress and judges and saying, You created this mess. It's not our fault. You have basically made us toothless. Oh my! He wants this to go to absolute. He wants it to all be blown up so he can get an antitrust exemption there across the board, and that's all. This is all politics and about the money. They're ruining the game for their own selfish benefit.
Here's what, by the way, Cats have 9 lives. Chip Kelly, he's got 12 or 13 of those. He's reappearing as Northwestern's offensive coordinator. Back to the Big Ten goes Chip.
Which is ironic because I didn't know that Northwestern actually has any offense ever. So that's going to be interesting to see. Welcome back, Chip Kelly. You know, these guys here, once you're in, Donnie, you're in. Yeah. Guys like Chip Kelly will have a job. You know, he'll have some success here. And then, of course, he'll be back on an NFL sideline at some point in the near future.
Anthony Rendon, how about that deal he signed as a free agent? Maybe one of the worst in sports history. Restructured the deal, ends his tenure with the team. The guy signed a big contract and told you right away, I hate baseball. I hate this city. I don't want to play, and still got paid. Oh, speechless. Joe, speechless at this point right now. Look at all that money making him speechless right now. Look at him. He's like a mime with a box on the screen right there. What are you doing over there?
I can't believe somebody actually gave him the kind of money he got to hit $175 for as long as he did. I really can't. And not to mention, he'd play 2 games and get hurt and then disappear. Unbelievable highway robbery, Anthony Rendon. Congratulations, my friend.
By the way, he also had a DK type incident with a fan trying to throw that quick punch at a guy for yelling at him here. CMC for the Niners also ended here where he's banged up. He's going to have to get a lot of carries this weekend against Seattle. And away we go. Mime season is here on the network.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gales and Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Time for your daily Spreadlines right here to get you cooking into the new year. We got 5 bowl games today. And Joe, I get a kick out of sometimes. It's like, you know what? Like on New Year's Day, we have a 12 o'clock game, a 4 o'clock game, and an 8 o'clock game. The reasons for that, they don't want any of those games to overlap, Joe. Why? Because they're important games. The networks paid a lot of money for them, and they're meaningful games. So I bring you today's slate, Joe. 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 3:30. An absolute smorgasbord of games with some big-name teams in here. And then they're like, hey, leave the game alone at night and give us a 4-hour window for a 7:30 start for Miami and Ohio State. So the people out there saying, bowl games are awesome and they mean something, the networks are telling you they mean nothing. They put them all into one window and said, leave the actual real game alone, which brings us to Arizona State and Duke. They'll play today. 2 o'clock kickoff. Opening line, Joe, around 1.5 as a favorite towards Duke. That's actually growing to over a field goal now, -3.5, and a total of 47.5. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. What's that spread line today, Joe?
Yeah, Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl here. Going to be interesting. Arizona State coach Kenny Dillingham, one of the best young coaches in college football. He's going to have to do it with a whole lot of guys that didn't play a whole lot of football for Arizona State this year because they've lost just about everybody worth of anything on both sides of the ball, including their starting quarterback, Sam Leavitt, who has moved on. But they do have a 40-year-old Jeff Sims who feels like he's been playing college football for the last 10 years, but he is understanding. Now, he did have to fill in a couple of games there at the end of the season for Sam Leavitt. But the reality is, Manny Diaz and Duke, they have a big chip on their shoulder. They're still a little bent that they're ACC champions, and they didn't get into the college football playoff. And not to mention they're bringing back the highest paid and maybe one of the best quarterbacks we're going to have in college football again next year in Darian Menza. Why do I know that? Because he's committed to come back to Duke, not only play in this game, but come back to Duke one more year. So this is all about who is playing and who's not playing. And Duke's got a lot more familiar faces that are going to be playing this game than Arizona State, which is why we're starting to see 3.5s now across the board popping up.
The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic tonight. The University of Miami taking on the Ohio State, 7:30 p.m. tonight. You can get in for a song and a dance at that price point, Joe. And also, real quick on this, too. The bowl series that they have now. So you're telling me Ohio State fans, they're really excited. They're a passionate fan base. They got to pay to go on the road to Indianapolis for a Big Ten championship game. Then they have to pay to go on the road to see their team in the Cotton Bowl. Then if they advance, it's another bowl game where they have to pay on a neutral site. If they advance there's another game and another plane ticket to play in the national championship game. Ohio State fans, save your money, people. Are you going to this game, that game, the other game, the championship game? Or maybe you saved up and they don't even make that game. Miami's getting 9.5 points tonight, Joe, in a total. 41.5 to 40.5 at some outlets here. What's your spread line tonight? Playoff style.
This is shocking because this line has not moved, Donnie. I thought for sure one way or the other. Now, it may still move before kickoff tonight at 7:30, but I can only see it moving in Miami's direction. Listen, Ohio State has been here and done this. Miami hasn't been to this point in a very, very long time. Doesn't mean they don't have a ton of money in the marketplace that might be sitting on the sidelines. But 9.5 with a total this low, Donnie, is head scratching. Somebody is wrong here. Either the books are completely missed it on Miami in this game, or this game is going to go flying over this total here, Donnie. The amount of offensive talent just in the wide receiver positions on both of these teams is crazy. Not to mention, it's not like Carson Beck hasn't played in a big game before. Julian Sand, not so much. He's a freshman, Donnie. This is his first rodeo. So I think all the value, and it wouldn't shock me if this total starts to rise. Yes, they had good defenses. Both of these teams did. But can we honestly say they played against an offense as lethal as Miami has? I think the total is way too low. Forget about the side. I think the total's way too low. I think they can fly over this total tonight.
It does seem like they're setting up on both sides. You have to take Miami at 9.5, and you have to take the over in this football game. You're right about that because we're not dealing with, hey, Joe, rain and 35-mile-an-hour winds. You're in a dome, man. Like the perfect conditions to air it out to elite talent. We'll see how that one plays out tonight. Keep moving on. The SRS Distribution Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl. It's a mouthful right there. Take a look at Nebraska and Utah. 13.5 as a favorite for Utah at the opening numbers. We're now through that line to 14.5 at most outlets, showing a total of 51.5. Nebraska, Utah, coaches, no coaches, quarterbacks. Who's playing in this game? Give me a spread line.
Well, a lot of, again, we all know Coach Whittingham, right, was stepping down because Morgan Scaley has been the coach in waiting forever at Utah. One of the big reasons he agreed Whittingham to step down is because he didn't want to hold off this guy taking the job any longer. He's been with him forever. Almost the entire coaching staff is the same except Whittingham. But he is going to this game, by the way. So that's going to be interesting as well. But the Cornhuskers have nobody left. Everybody who's anybody, including their quarterback, who was hurt, Dylan Raiola, but he's already transferring out of there. So there are a ton of new faces for Nebraska. This is nothing more than a spring practice for Nebraska to figure out who's going to be on the team next year. There is a reason why Utah is getting all the money and all the love in the marketplace. We know who's playing for them. We have no idea who's playing for the Cornhuskers.
Get a hangover tomorrow? Welcome to the Orange Bowl. Used to play at night on New Year's Day. Now we're going to play at 12 o'clock noon on New Year's Day. It's Oregon and Texas Tech. We'll see if this line gets through that -3 and a key number. But currently, Joe, -2 and 2.5 in the marketplace for Oregon, and a total 51.5. Your spread line, Oregon, Texas Tech at the Orange Bowl.
The lowest price on the board in a playoff game, Donnie. It feels like a coin flip, but we are starting to see this morning a lot more Oregon money flood the marketplace. If you like Oregon, get it before it hits 3 because that's likely where it's heading.
Ole Miss and Georgia here. 6.5-point line. That hasn't moved either, Joe, with a 55.5. How about that? 2 SEC teams down in the Bayou. What gives here? What's your spread line?
And I don't see it getting to 7, Donnie. I think it's going to stay right here. My question is, could this be the highest scoring game of all the playoff games? Feels like it might be.
News and notes from around the NFL coming up next on the Early Line Holiday Edition. Happy New Year!
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? No, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? Nobody. So the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Just in time for the Diggs Family Soap Opera right here on the Early Line on the SportsGrid Network on December 31st, which is New Year's Eve. Stoney writes out in it's Joe Ranier. Let's get the first Diggs here. Stephon Diggs. The Patriots released a statement yesterday, quote, The New England Patriots are aware of accusations that have been made regarding Stephon Diggs. Stephon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. We support Stephon. We will continue to gather information and fully cooperate with the appropriate authorities and the NFL as necessary. So what that basically means is this guy's good. This guy could be a key to us winning a Super Bowl. We'll let the legal ramifications play out, because by the time we find out if he did any wrongdoing, it'll be end of the Super Bowl season, and then we can make our determination in the offseason. But as for now, Stephon, welcome to the playoffs.
Yeah, according to the incident report, apparently a woman said she had been working for Diggs, and then on December 2nd, I guess she claimed he owed her money, and he didn't agree and slapped and choked her. That's the story that apparently she is claiming, that Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom and smacked her across the face. She said she tried pushing him away, but he used his, it looks like his elbow or the crook of his elbow around her neck, and that is what she was filing the report on. But he denies it. She says it happened, and eventually, I think, Donnie, 2 days before what should be the AFC Championship game is when he has to appear in court. So it's going to be interesting. Will he even be on the team? Will the NFL suspend him prior to that? There's a lot still unknown about this.
There is a lot still unknown. Hey, look, just pay your chefs. It's okay. Like, they make you up some shrimp cocktail, pay them. It's no big deal. Don't get yourself put in the highlights here, and certainly the lowlights of media. Let's take a look at the other Diggs brother here in Dallas. Not a big deal just a few short years ago. Hasn't played well and has been injured. I look at this report, and it seems to me it's one-sided, because we're led to believe that everything was fantastic with the organization. Everything has been great. And then all of a sudden the Cowboys like, no, get on that plane and go back to Dallas. Well, coach, I'm just going to fly back to Dallas and fly right back to the, D.C. area to see my family. So what? Get on that plane. Oh, now you're cut. Stop it. This guy's been injured but healthy enough to play. They've been having him deactivated for a reason, people. Now they let him go, which is eligible to join another team, but who's going to want the headache? What a mess in Dallas, certainly. This looked like one of the quarterback connections with Bland and him for the next 5 years that will be lockdown city, and both have turned out to be like, man, they can't defend anybody, and they cost a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I think he had 1 year left on his 5-year, $97 million extension that he signed in 2023. But I think he's got $472,000 game check. If somebody wants to sign him, that's what they can get him for. But that's only if somebody claims him on waivers. He's not going to get claimed. They were never re-signing him anyway, Donnie. They just kind of jumped the gun here and said, we're good. We're not going to the playoffs. Yeah, there's no more guaranteed money on the contract. So he was going to be a free agent one way or the other, and it looks like they're just getting a head start on it.
Letting him go to a playoff contender, even if that helps at this point. Who knows if he even gets picked up? But I think I can agree with Joe. Ain't nobody saying, you know what, let me claim on waivers and pay him $500,000 for this game alone. He's going to clear waivers, no doubt about it here. Keep moving down. Mike Tomlin expects Watt to be at defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's missed the past couple games because of a needling for his lung, which punctured it here. Tough scene, but they would love to get him back for this unbelievable final game on Sunday Night Football.
It would. Listen, I hope he can go. I know Tomlin's saying he expects to go. I am sure Watt expects to go. I certainly hope he is healthy enough to do that. The whole situation was a little crazy, Donnie. Even when we learned of it, we're like, when did this, what are we missing here? But hopefully he'll be on the field. The problem here with Pittsburgh is the one guy that they need on the field won't be on the field, and that is DK Metcalf. And that, if they don't win this game, Donnie, I cannot wait to see what that offseason is like with him.
Ooh, should be a lot of fun here. You know what else isn't a lot of fun? Going up against that Houston Texans defense. And for many people out there going you bring Phillip Rivers back in a meaningless game. Just let him play one more game before he retires. They're doing this man a favorite. Because why? He would get buried in the pocket and probably have a funeral on Monday morning as opposed to a retirement celebration. You know what that means? Riley Leonard's going to get the start. He's a rookie. At least he can move in the pocket. Phillip Rivers, he would have a tombstone on his head on Sunday.
I'm not sure about that, Donnie, because they said the same thing with Seattle, and he had those defenders talking to him. He knew what the Seattle defense was doing before they even did it. So I would love to see it, but unfortunately, it's Riley Leonard time. It probably was Riley Leonard time 3 games ago.
By the way, the 2026 Hall of Fame finalists have been listed. Why is Eli on there? The guy didn't even have a 500 record as a quarterback. Embarrassing.
Oh, he's awful.
My goodness, man. We're up next. We're going to keep going. Let's do it.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways: half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? No, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? No, but so the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, yeah, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Bowl season, it's New Year's Eve. You got 4 games on before we get to the playoff game tonight. A game at 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 3:30. The first game, if you want to take a nap, you could probably do that because Iowa wants to put on a punting clinic today. Iowa's going to take on Vanderbilt. Vandy's actually a favorite in this game of -5.5 and a total of 45.5. Diego Pavia, does he score a touchdown today, flip the bird to the crowd, and do a Heisman pose at the same time? We'll find out, Joe. 12 o'clock start. Give me an idea what you expect here from Iowa and Vandy.
This line has been all over the map, Donnie, all week long here because we've seen initial Vanderbilt money come in and get this thing up to about 5.5, where it is even 6. Then we saw nothing but Iowa money come in, and this thing shot all the way back down to about 3.5, 4. And now over the last 24 hours, Donnie, we see nothing but Vanderbilt money come back in and push it back up to 5.5. The reality of this is styles make fights, right? Diego Pavia is playing in this game for Vandy. And the entire Iowa team also, both sides of the ball, all the playmakers, the offensive line. This is going to be physicality on the Iowa side, taking on an SEC team that thinks because they're from the SEC, they should have no problem winning this game. But I think Gronowski, the quarterback of Iowa, that offense got better as the season progressed, Donnie. I think this game comes down to a field goal. So the fact that you can get 5.5, the physicality, the special teams advantage, all in favor of Iowa in this one.
Iowa Super Bowl is going to be played at noon today. We'll see if you tune into the ReliaQuest Bowl, which is what that's called. Now we'll move it down to a 2 o'clock game Eastern that's going to start between Arizona State and Duke in UTEP. Texas, El Paso, the Sun Bowl, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, by the way. 3.5-point favorite for the Duke Blue Devils. You talked about Mensah, quarterback, playing in this game and coming back next year. Arizona State, quarterback's like, you know what? I think I'll go in the portal at this point. 47.5 is the total as well. Duke, ASU.
Yeah, and again, I think this comes down to quarterbacks here. And Duke's Darian Menza playing in this game. And I think outside of a couple of opt-outs on the defensive side of the ball for Duke, they will have all of his offensive weapons that he had during the season. And we know, listen, Duke did a great job of shooting themselves in the foot a lot of times this year. Manny Diaz is a defensive coach whose defense wasn't all that great this year, but the offense can drop 40 on anyone. If you're backing Arizona State, you're thinking Jeff Sims, I think it's his fifth or sixth year. He's played with everybody. You're thinking this is the guy that is going to step in for Arizona State, who's lost 4 starters, prime starters, including the number 1 wide receiver in college football, and his quarterback aren't playing. It's just too much defection, I think, no matter how good a coach Dillingham is. I'm having a hard time thinking that a, chip on their shoulder ACC champion, well, if they lose this game, Donnie, they don't have a leg to stand on about anything. So I do think that you're going to get a huge effort from Duke here.
Look at that. You got games today. And also, I've watched all of the playoff games so far. I will watch the playoff game tonight. I will watch all 3 of the playoff games tomorrow, Joe. But, sometimes you protest. You go on a hunger strike. Well, not hunger strike. I only eat once a day, so it's not really a hunger strike. But I've gone on record at saying I will not be watching any of the bowl games, Joe. I'm almost there. I've held strong this entire way. You got 4 games, 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 3:30. I will not watch any of these games, which means that's why we have Joe Ranieri here to tell you exactly what's going to take place in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Michigan and Texas. Many thought maybe we'd have 2 teams like these 2 teams playing in the college football playoff, but we don't. But Arch Manning, he's there, and he's taking a pay cut to come back next year. Michigan's got a new coach, Joe. 7.5 is a favorite towards Texas. What do we got here?
Well, there's a ton of change, obviously, on Michigan's side of the ball. Ton of distractions. The former OC no longer there. He's already moved on to Missouri, right? There's not a lot of continuity here at all on the Michigan side of the ball. Doesn't mean this game won't be competitive, but Arch Manning is playing. Texas, and a lot outside of a couple of wide receivers, I believe one of their running backs, but it's Texas. Much like USC, Donnie, they've got guys in waiting. The depth on a team like Texas in the skill position, they've got it in. They got a ton of these guys here. So as long as Arch Manning's there, I think Texas has got a pretty good opportunity here to be able to get it done. And the market thinks so as well, as this is hovering around a touchdown. It was 5.5 to open. It's still hovering around a touchdown, and we all know how much the market loves Texas, especially as a favorite.
The Vegas Bowl, Nebraska and Utah here. 2 touchdown plus favorite for the Utah Utes here going up against the Cornhuskers, and a total of 51.5, Joe. 3:30 start today. The SRS distribution, Las Vegas Bowl to be correct.
Listen, these bowl games, Donnie, it's all about the transfer portal, right? It's all about who is wearing the uniform and who is not. And does it resemble anything like what we saw during the year? Well, Utah will not have their 3 top linemen in this game because why? Well, they're going to the NFL draft. So that's not that shocking. But the coaching staff outside of Whittingham is completely intact for this game. The Cornhuskers don't have Dylan Raiola. He's already transferring. They don't have their top running back. They don't have any of their receivers, not that they had a lot of great ones to begin with. There is so much unknown with Nebraska, which is why you've seen this continue to climb towards Utah. More disciplined team, more stability. You got to love what Utah brings to the table in this game.
4 bowl games today and a playoff game. Then tomorrow we have the 3 playoff games, which is Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, Ole Miss, and Georgia. And then, Joe, the final day of meaningless bowl games will be on January the 2nd, where they give you 4 absolute ridiculous games, which we'll certainly go over those as well. But let me ask you this question, Joe. We see a lot of people popping up on social media yesterday where, bowl games are insignificant now. They're basically made for TV, and they do make the networks money, including ESPN. But if you're looking at any of the pictures, nobody goes to these games. Nobody cares in person. But it is still about profitability. Let me ask you this question. because now we're seeing in the past when it was just, okay, the Rose Bowl is the national championship game. Yes, teams and fan bases and the secondary market are going to explode because that's an environment you want to be in. But now we're finding ourselves saying like the Orange Bowl might not be a sellout at this point. And if you want to go down the Jerry World for Ohio State and Miami, two name brand blue blood programs, you can get in for like $30. Are we getting closer and closer to, hey, you know what? The NFL does it right. All playoff games at the higher seeded home team, and then you play one championship game at a destination, which everybody will pay to go for, and everybody will be happy with that. How far around the corner are we to have this stuff? The Cotton Bowl today. And by the way, coaches that used to be in the past, hey, I'm 9-6 in my bowl record. You can basically go make the playoffs 3 years and be like, hey, I won 10 bowl games in 3 years. Enough of this nonsense.
Yeah, they won't do it, college football. They will maximize profits, bigger stadiums, bigger play. That they will never go that way. And by the way, it's not like the NFL could see some change coming as well, because Donnie, you tell me, in what world should either Carolina, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore have a home game in the first game in the playoff? Tell me how they deserve, when you've got 11-win wildcard teams sitting there in the NFL. I think change is coming there for sure.
By the way, do you remember when the NFL kicked around like, oh, you know what would be really interesting? Let's float this out here and crowdsource. If we had the NFC and AFC championship games at a neutral site, which got bashed because some of the best moments of my sporting life is going to NFC championship games at Lincoln Financial Field. I've been to a ton of them here, like, you know, back in the heart-crushing days of 2002 where they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the wins in 2004 against Atlanta. Also, the Minnesota Vikings game where you had Nick Foles out there. Those are parties that are meant to be the Super Bowl for your city at that point here. It's amazing how they just want to take that out and make it into like a place that's not yours, not theirs, and I got to pay for this, and then the Super Bowl next. Enough with some of these changes. But I'm interested to see, Joe, because money drives everything. And if these games aren't going to sell it in the future, because, again, you're asking Ohio State fans, if they're the favorites to win it all, to go basically on 4 or 5 road trips just to see their team make it to the national championship. Enough of that nonsense. More Hot Topics on the way next. We absolutely love it bringing the new year in.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways: half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? You know, no, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? Nobody. So the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe, regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, yeah, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
By the way, we were telling you just a few weeks back, the Big Ten championship game, which we were looking forward to it. 2 unbeaten teams facing off to be Big Ten champions. But also at the same time, the game really didn't matter. But sure, it mattered to the players on the teams and the fan bases that wanted to win the Big Ten championship game. But if it did actually matter, Joe, you had Indiana beat Ohio State. Hey, they settled it on the field, neutral site. Indiana's the better team. Then you look at the odds to win the national championship and you go, yeah, well, I just watched the number 1 team in the country now, Indiana, beat Ohio State. They're the favorites. No, they're not. On the Ohio State, 195. Indiana, plus 310. So, Joe, I go back to that Big Ten game. I said it didn't matter. Apparently, it didn't matter at all. One team lost. Like, yeah, but that game didn't matter because Ohio State's the better team. But wait, Ohio State just lost. Donnie, it doesn't matter. Ohio State's the better team. That's what they're telling us here in the odds market.
And they're likely right, Donnie. I mean, that's not. I mean, don't forget. People forget they watched them. Oh,
Wild.
Indiana won. Listen, Indiana won because the Ohio State kicker went absolutely brain dead on a chip shot field goal that would have sent that game to overtime. They are the defending champions, Donnie, and I always give credence to that. You're a champ until somebody beats you. Now, in a meaningless game where they knew they were likely to meet again in the future, and I had mentioned this all week leading up to that Big Ten championship. Do you really think Ryan Day's emptying the tank to beat Indiana in the Big Ten championship? Absolutely not. We will see, but I agree with the market. Ohio State is and should be the reigning champion and favorite to repeat.
In the predictive markets here, you can also wager on Reach, the college football national championship game, which, no surprise, the favorite is who? Oh, it's the Ohio State, followed by Indiana, Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Miami, and Ole Miss there. Then at the bottom at 8%. For me, Joe, I always like to take a flyer. If I'm looking at 2 teams I think that can beat Indiana, let's just say, if they get by Alabama, it's one of those teams there that you're going to take a look at, whether it be Oregon and or Texas Tech, getting plus money on both sides. I think Oregon and or Texas Tech, the winner of that game, is going to make it into the college football final.
So in that market, Donnie, can we just bet no on Indiana to win anything?
Yeah.
Yes. We can, right? And is it favored towards the percentage higher for yes, that Indiana wins and advances and wins everything, or is there any value in fading them across the board here?
Reaching the championship game for Indiana, if you bet the no, it's at 59 cents. So a $100 investment would pay back $170. If you took the yes for Indiana with a $100 investment, it's $233. So you can still make some decent money on a no, which means, again, Indiana's got to beat Alabama. Hey, they're favored to do so. Maybe they do. Then they still have to beat the winner of Texas Tech and Oregon before you even get to that championship game. So 2 good teams they're playing. Chances are they're probably going to lose one of those games.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the value is probably who's the least likely to win it right now? Miami? Is that because they're the biggest underdog?
They got Ole Miss, Joe. And this is just to make it to the championship game. Ole Miss is the lowest at 8%. So it's at, 8%, but 9 cents is the number going off of a $100 wager if you think Ole Miss. And this isn't even winning at all, Joe. Just getting to the championship game will pay you back. Yeah, $1,112 comes back to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
big money.
Now that's value. 2 SEC teams, right? With pretty much is there that much separating Georgia and Ole Miss? I mean, that's a huge percentage, a huge return there, Donnie, just to get to the championship game. Interesting.
Exactly. No, good markets out here that you can certainly take piece of. And also the transfer portal. Here's Kirby Smart, head coach of Georgia, talking about it.
We're focused on, prep and getting better. And for a while, it's been like intrinsically looking at ourselves and asking each player, did you come here to develop? Did you truly come here to develop? Because if you did, all your buddies are out there right now. Everybody's, announcing what they're doing. I'm announcing that I'm going in the portal. I'm announcing that I'm re-signing. How about you announce that you're getting better and you're going to practice and actually do what the 20 and 30 years of college football players did before you? Because if you're going to play somewhere else, you know what you need to do? You need to get better. If you're going to play here, you know what you need to do? You need to get better. If you want to go to the National Football League and play, this is your last chance to get better. Because they're not going to give you much opportunity. They're going to cut you or keep you based on how you do. They don't get to practice in pads but so many days. So development occurs in December for us, and that's what we've been focused on.
Portal's about to open up, Joe. Players are coming and going.
I'm sure he has no idea who the guys he wants to come to Georgia. I'm sure he has no idea on that. He's just very focused on, I got you. No, I get it. The portal is opening. Craziness is about to begin. And take out the pad and pencil here, Donnie, and start taking some notes for next year, because the portal could be absolutely wild here in a couple of days.
By the way, you have to adapt and advance in college football, and Georgia's done a very good job. So many other teams as well. Miami just cherry picks good quarterbacks, saying, "Come to us, we'll make you into a high draft pick, and we'll win along the way." But isn't it funny that the one team that was like, portal, we're not letting anybody go. Nobody's coming in here. It's Clemson. Clemson used to be fantastic, win the ACC every year, make national championship runs, and win national championships. Like, boy, Clemson operates like an SEC program. And Dabo's like, we do it different here. Is it any surprise that Clemson stinks out loud because they don't anticipate and embrace the transfer portal? It's funny stuff. Hey, adapt, advance, or die. That's the way it is. Miami to Ohio State. They're going to play tonight, Joe, 7:30 p.m. Some team and some fan base's team is going to be celebrating tonight the new year as they move on. Miami's getting 9.5 points and an ultra-low total of 41.5 to 40.5, depending on where you're shopping at tonight. Two rivals dating back to a crazy game in 2002. They're going to re-up today. Miami in Florida and Ohio State, Joe. Is that too many points?
It hasn't moved, Donnie. So, but if we reverse this, given the total in this game, so you're telling me we're looking at what, a 30-17 game for Ohio State to blow Miami out here and cover this number by double digits, Donnie? I mean, how many points does Ohio State have to score? If this isn't going to be a 17-3 game, I don't get it. It feels like you're telling us Ohio State's going to have to score 24 to 30 points in order to cover this game, because you're not shutting down Miami's offense. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's a great game to look at, and also it feels like, again, we talk about they're baiting you to take the 9.5 points. Alabama and Indiana, seems like they're baiting you as well. 25% of the tickets on Indiana, yet that line is now over 7.5 at most outlets here, to total 47.5. How about that, Joe? Lines out here, people.
The hook is available, Donnie. The hook. Crazy.
We're gonna get Joe's take on Alabama, Indiana right after this short break.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways: half court, full court, running gun, walk it up, and they out execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season, but let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Rose Bowl, which we're led to believe, Joe, in just a few short years, the Rose Bowl is probably going to move to SoFi. And then what's the point of the Rose Bowl? Like, we love the Rose Bowl because where the Rose Bowl is played here and the time of day it's played. So you get the sun setting over the San Gabriel Mountains, as we like to say. Alabama's going to take on Indiana, two teams, again, thousands of miles away from the Rose Bowl, where even the Rose Bowl isn't necessarily a super hot ticket as we see. 7.5 as a favorite towards Indiana, Joe. Light ticket count on Indiana. Most people look at that line just like the Miami line and say, what? Too many points. Give me Alabama. Is that the right thought process in this game? Or is Indiana the better team? Or can Alabama once again pull an upset?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting here because it's not like Kalen DeBoer has a bad track record in the postseason, Donnie. I mean, this is another guy that has been there and he has done that. And a lot, Indiana has become this public darling now of sorts, right? Everybody is just stuck a fork in Alabama and they're pretending like they don't have the athletes, they don't have the coaching. There's no way they're going to stand toe to toe with Indiana. Like, is that really where we're at here? So, I mean, this could just go down as one of these games, Donnie, where once again, Heisman winner, quarterback on a team that everyone loves and falls woefully short of what the goal is. And everyone's going, oh, wow. How shocked would you be, Donnie? Alabama wins this game. How shocked? I wouldn't be. So you want to give me over a touchdown? Yeah, I'll take over a touchdown with an SEC team that's been there and done that with a proven coach, by the way, in the postseason who usually pushes the right buttons and gets guys to play. So love Cignetti and love Indiana, but are we really crowning them after what, 2 years?
How about the Rose Bowl, Joe? Typically, again, the setting is what makes it so special because it's a pretty cool environment that they play. I always said, like, if there's any championship venues, it always should be the Rose Bowl. But how about this, Joe?
Right.
Rain expected all throughout the game for the Rose Bowl? How about that,
Nice.
Joe? Murking up the conditions here. Light wind speeds. It's never windy out there. But rain at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then turns at the end of the game into mostly cloudy. Do we get that beautiful sunset that most people love to watch the Rose Bowl for, Joe?
You might at times, Donnie. I mean, let's face it, there could be every now and then could be a little popping out. I don't know that it's going to be there for the entire game, but it does make it interesting at that point. If you're going to have a slippery track, let's see how that works. Then it's going to come down to the trenches. Who's winning in the trenches, Donnie?
Yep. Do we have a good system there on the Rose Bowl turf where it drains effectively there? Like, when you play in Miami at Hard Rock, it drains because they have to do that. Let's see how it turns out here. But you might have a little bit of a messy circumstance out there for the Rose Bowl, something that we're not used to. See what else we're not used to? Nikola Jokic getting injured. Let's talk some NBA, Joe. Down approximately a month here. Could have been worse. But the Denver Nuggets and their MVP candidate, who was just fresh off of a few days ago, felt like a 50-point triple-double. We won't see him for about a month.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate, man. It really is. I mean, at least 4 weeks with the knee injury, but they avoided long-term disaster. But, even after a month, Donnie, is he going to be 100%? It's not good for this team. We're seeing other teams in the West start to get better, and now the Nuggets, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt on this team. So if they're not careful, they're 22-10 right now. By the time he gets back, Donnie, what they could be 25 and 20, and that would be a problem moving forward in the West.
How about a Ponzi scheme? We used to talk about, like, hey, you know what a Ponzi scheme is? Like, yeah, there's a lot of fraud involved, and you think you're going to get something, and it's too good to be true. That's Anthony Davis. He's the Ponzi scheme known for the NBA that the Atlanta Hawks are like, I'll buy into the Ponzi scheme. The returns are going to be great. Until the guy shows up and gets injured immediately while putting on some street clothes here. The Hawks looking at Anthony Davis. Why? Nobody knows why, Joe.
I wouldn't be looking at him. I mean, listen, the Hawks need to blow everything up and start from scratch. They've got some nice pieces there, but Anthony Davis is not a stopgap. He's a guy that will take up a seat on the bench and never help you win games. That's the problem.
That is the problem. Let's take a look at a quick game tonight, Joe. The Phoenix Suns on the road to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who we probably expected them to run away with the East. Doesn't really look like that's the case right now. They're favored by 6 over the Suns tonight. I say tonight, by the way, Joe, a 3:30 start in the NBA. How about that? Wow.
A lot of earliness
Yeah.
going on here today, Donnie. And yeah, Cavs finally won one last game out. This is against Houston, no less. This is going to be a good one. I think there's going to be a ton of points. I wouldn't sweat out an under in this one tonight, Donnie. Today,
By the way, the NBA has 5 games scheduled for New Year's Day. How many personal days have these players taken off for that one? Unders across the board. That's what I predict here. We'll be back with hour number 2 coming up next.